Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree this evening is Dr. Ajay V. He is an international leader in surgical oncology and serves as Surgeon-in-Chief at the University of California, San Francisco Helen Diller Family Comprehensive Cancer Center. Gallant Distinguished Professor and Chief of Surgical Oncology for UCSF. He earned degrees with honors in biology and fine arts from Brown University. His medical degree is from Yale University. His surgical residency was at Brigham and Women's Hospital of Harvard Medical School, and completed surgical oncology fellowships at the National Institute of Health, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York, and the University of Paris. He also completed postdoctoral training at the National Cancer Institute, contributing to landmark clinical trials that led to the first successful immunotherapy for patients with metastatic cancer. Dr. Maker is known for caring for patients, some of which have the most complex and advanced cancers, including many who have been told their tumors have spread and nothing can be done to remove it by surgery. Patients seek him out for his ability to provide clear guidance, surgical options, compassion, and above all else, hope. In addition to his clinical work in liver and pancreatic surgery, his team leads major nationally funded research efforts and has shared discoveries through hundreds of publications and invited lectures around the world. He is deeply committed to teaching and mentorship and has been repeatedly recognized for excellence in mentorship and patient care. At New Trier, he was a 3-season scholar athlete in soccer and track and field, served as design editor of the yearbook, and was deeply engaged in music, science, and of course, service. He participated in Symphonic Wind Ensemble and Science Olympiad, where he became Illinois State Champion in anatomy and was active in the biology club. Scholastics Bowl, social service, Glittery Magazine. Outside of his professional life, he values time with his wife and 3 sons and finds balance through triathlon training, mountain trekking, adventure photography, and the arts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ajay Maker.
Well, I'm just glad my wife got to hear that introduction, so thank you very much.
We recorded it so you can share it later.
Wow, what an extraordinary honor to be here with all of you and to be welcomed for this award that means really a lot to me. It's really a privilege to share it with the other amazing inductees, and I feel really fortunate to share it with my classmate, Suzanne Yoon, and we were lab partners back in the day. It's pretty cool that we're able to share this together. And I see Mark Malnati's being awarded tonight as well. Is he still in the room?
Yes.
There he is. All right, so I just want you to know that moving to San Francisco has really been awesome, but there's a real problem with deep dish out there. So if this Hall of Honor event somehow leads to a standing shipment of Chicago-style pizza to my house, I will consider this the most meaningful award of my career. So, and congratulations to you and your family. So, at New Trier, academic rigor, it was not an abstract idea. It was a lived experience. The expectations were high, the pace was real, and excellence was simply assumed. When I arrived in college, the workload really was not a shock. The discussions were not overwhelming. They were familiar. New Trier had really already prepared us. Teachers like Mrs. Landor, for those of you that remember her in great books, she taught us how to teach, how to think critically and to defend an idea. Jeremiah Gulko is here with me today, was my partner in great books, and we ended up becoming best friends through classes like this. Tony Harper's AP Biology class gave me vivid, Tony Harper. Tony Harper's AP Biology class gave me vivid memories of dissections that probably foreshadowed a surgical career. And I got to see him earlier today, which was really special. And in Mr. Mitchell's math and calculus class, I don't know if you remember Mr. Mitchell, he was high and tight, straight out of like 1950s military. I remember there were purple ink from, he would only do photostats, not Xerox. So photostats of our tests, and it would rub onto your hands. And the goal was not to finish the test, it was not to get permanent photostat ink on your hands. But, college felt manageable because of these teachers, and, New Trier had already really stretched us. Now, I'll admit that my New Trier record was not entirely spotless. I did attend Breakfast Club on many occasions for being late to advisory. And for those who remember the John Hughes movie that was filmed based on New Trier, I suspect I identified most closely with the Anthony Michael Hall character. But New Trier was not just about academics. The breadth and depth of extracurricular opportunities were absolutely incredible. Athletics, arts, music, service, science clubs. You could try almost anything. And as I learned today in my visit, it's only exponentially increased since the 90s. And that freedom allowed many of us to really start discovering who we are or who we were. I was never going to be Pele, but I did get to play varsity soccer. And running out of the tunnel under the lights at New Trier West made us feel like Lionel Messi just for a few minutes. And perhaps more importantly, it prepared me for decades later to coach my son's elementary soccer school team. Although I should say that Generation Alpha has very different views of training than we did. Coach Tony Shinto, if any of you remember him, he had that philosophy of 2 practices a day till you threw up or you needed Bengay. That doesn't resonate quite the same with my kids anymore. I did find my way into biology club, yearbook, band, Jets, Scholastic Bowl. These experiences were formative, not just because of the activities themselves, but because of the teachers who guided us. One teacher who had a profound impact on me was Mr. Munley, who's actually sitting at our table tonight. He was my AP chemistry teacher, and he was the coach of our science Olympiad team. He allowed me to compete at our national competition in my freshman year in this event, A is for Anatomy. And now looking back as a surgeon, it would have been pretty embarrassing if I hadn't done well in that event. But what I remember most about Mr. Munley and all of our coaches was their patience and their enthusiasm. Whether we were dropping eggs off the roof of New Trier or building cars powered by mousetraps, he gave us the freedom to experiment and the confidence to try things that may not work. We stayed in touch even after graduation, and 4 years later, when I was a counselor at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center in Evanston for a camp, he volunteered to perform his Merlin-like chemistry act show for the kids. I've never seen children more excited about oxidative reductive reactions. Experiences like this taught us something important. They taught us not to fear new challenges. They gave us space to experiment, to fail safely, and to begin identifying our passions. In Japanese, there's a word, ikigai, which means a sense of purpose or a reason for being. New Trier gave us the opportunity to start searching for that. Only years after graduating did I fully appreciate how fortunate we were. I often say proudly that I attended a public high school, and we did. But now as I navigate the public high school and the public school system with my own kids in California, I realize how extraordinary the opportunities were here on the North Shore and in New Trier. The resources, the teachers, the culture of excellence were not ordinary, they were exceptional. As I reflect on my time in New Trier, I also carry a deep gratitude for my parents, Vijay and Sushila Maker. They immigrated from India to Chicago when they were just 22 years old. And with courage and remarkable foresight, they aspired to move to Glencoe for one reason only. They heard the school system was excellent. Education was their highest priority for our family. They built their lives around that belief. They still live in Glencoe today, and I'm profoundly grateful for the sacrifices they made so that I could stand here tonight. My sister, who's here, when we attended New Trier, We were among the very few non-Caucasian students, and certainly among a very small number of South Asian Americans. At the time, I really did not fully process what that meant. I mostly remember preferring bagels, lox, and a good schmear to Indian food. Still do in some ways, and happily adopting traditions of my friends' families. I celebrated Christmas in Kenilworth with Jeremiah and his family, with Christmas ham and gifts around the tree. I enjoyed Passover dinners and gefilte fish with my friends in Glencoe. When I visited New Trier today, I still see those wonderful traditions, but I also see something more. The diversity of a student body is more visible than when I was a student, and that diversity will only strengthen the school. Students learn not only from textbooks and teachers, but from each other, from families, from cultures, from shared experiences, from immigrant stories like my parents. Those stories together are the fabric of this community. They're what bind us into this powerful and enduring New Trier alumni network. So New Trier gave me knowledge, it gave me confidence, it gave me opportunity, and perhaps more importantly, it gave me perspective. A perspective that instilled a sense of purpose and a desire to give back to our community. For me, that path led to medicine and caring for patients with cancer, and for that, I am deeply grateful. I want to thank my teachers, my parents, my family who are here tonight, my incredibly accomplished wife, Manvi, our 3 boys, Jay, Arjun, and Raj, my sister Geetha, class of '90, who serves our community here on the North Shore as a physician, and Jeremiah, my best friend since sophomore year of high school who flew in from DC. And thank you all, and thank you to New Trier. Cheers.